And it gets worse. Identity theft. Identity theft.
He made a joke, and he mentioned identity theft. They really enjoyed the joke, and so he always insults the audience, okay? I don't know why he does that. Stephen Colbert. Conan O'Brien does it. Bill Maher does it all the time, you know? It's hard. I sat in the audience today, and there is this professor, just shitty, just gets on there and is just shitty to everybody. Everybody's just supposed to, you know, bow down to Mein Führer, and they're used to classrooms of, you know, college students, which they're compliant and obedient. They're putting, God, they got $60,000 on the line, right? Fuck, they better do as they're told. But she paid attention. She was like, well, it's a little different talking to people who say they can't hear in the back. Yeah, I guess that is a little different, but if people can't hear in the back, how the fuck are you going to communicate with them? And yeah, the regular people, average people, they're not going to put up with your fucking bullshit. It just shows me how out of touch professors are, how out of touch colleges and professors. They talk so, you know, they talk above everybody. They're stuck up, and she was wrong. She was wrong about a lot of issues. Now, the only thing I want to talk about right now is this sample ballot. But since I'm complaining about politicians, nah, never mind. I'll give that one a bye, okay? But some of these politicians are on notice. So I went to the League of Voters meeting. They had a forum where they had all the people talk about these ballot questions. There's 5 ballot questions, and I'm not for sure. I think she was, but I'm not for sure if she was. So everybody, all the issues were talked about but question 300. So I'm not for sure what that was about. So perhaps she wasn't invited. I think she was there, but I don't know. The 7 candidates, everything I've been saying is absolutely true. The 7 candidates for city council is Dennis Flores, Charlotte Perez, Joseph A. Latino, Jason Muniz, Mark Aliff, Aisha M. Jiren, and Kevin Cover. Kevin Cover, huh? Kevin Cover. He's got a passion for Pueblo. Kevin Covers he's got so much passion. He's got so much passion. He's rubbing up on the buildings and fucking them. Only people with passion, they don't have the passion that I have for Pueblo. I love this damn city. I love it. All right. So that's good, and he actually might win with that campaign, right? I will not talk about any substantial issues. I'm just going to say, be proud of our faults too. Yes, it doesn't matter. Who cares? C'est la vie. And then Michael Stapleton, Bob Schilling, Tommy Farrell of District 1. We need to pay attention to these candidates because, especially Bessemer. Bessemer's got to pay attention to these district candidates because, yeah, they got to have a preference, you know, for their district, but they're still representing all the people. They're still representing all the people. So if you all hear one of the District 1 or District 3 candidates talking shit about Bessemer, I want to know about it. I want to hear about that because that's bullshit. That's bullshit. You're going to what? Just pawn your problems off on a different district? No, you know, have a preference for your own district, but I want someone who's going to represent the entirety of the people. So watch out. Watch out for that. I don't see the City Council District 3 anywhere. Joshua Bruns had put his name on the ballot, but on this sample ballot here, it doesn't say anywhere about Joshua Bruns. I don't know if they forgot about it. Maybe this was just for District 1. So just for District 1, because there was a ballot issue, a firefighter had talked about a West Pueblo ballot initiative where they're going to take away Tabor, which is a taxpayer bill of rights. And the idea is any extra money the government gets, they got to pay the citizens back. And so they want to take Tabor away so they could keep that money that they already have in their coffers in order to build a fire station. So it's not raising any taxes at all. It's just saying that the money, the surplus that the, I guess, municipality of West Pueblo had collected, they get to keep. So that's interesting. The fire department's getting surpluses. Our city's got a surplus, and all this talk about, strange mayor. But what about, this Sam Azad? I wonder what Sam Azad feels about all this. He's taking care of city government. He's been issuing all these State of the Union reports, all these State of the City and the budget. He's managed this city okay. Yeah, there's some fucking issues. When you pile a bunch of people on top of one another, shit's going to happen. But it's safe. It's fairly clean. It's fairly decent. There's employment rates 3.5%. So let's give some props to Sam Azad. I mean, that's got to, you're going to throw the entire legacy of the city manager away just because you didn't want to have an awkward conversation with Sam Azad? I think Sam Azad's done a good job. He's been in there for the last 5 years, and this strange mayor thing is electoral coup d'etat. It's absolute bullshit. I'll get to that in a second. So let's assume that District 3 is as I think it is. And District 3 is the Joshua Bruns versus Ed Brown. Okay, so then we have Sandy Gutierrez, the only person running for the Board of Waterworks. She gets 6 years. 6-year term for Waterworks. Just the board, not the executive director. We're not asked for any of these executive directors. Just the mayor is the only thing that they're going to allow us to vote on. They're not going to allow us to vote on the director of Waterworks. They're not going to allow us to vote for the director of the Civil Service Commission or the director of any of the departments. The Department of Purchasing, the Department of Transit, the Department of Elderly Services, Human Services, the Department of Fire, the Fire Department, the Police Department. None of those departments are popularly elected. So you want us to believe that you want to do a popular mayor thing, but you don't want, and she said, the professor said that that's a commission-style government. That is fucking horseshit. She is a liar. 1911, the commission-style government wasn't all the directors being elected. The commission-style government was the legislature and the executive branch is one, which is how Pueblo County runs themselves. She had a commissioner in that room, a commission style of government. And she didn't even realize that she lives in Pueblo County. Pueblo County has a commission style of government. So I don't see how she didn't know that. She also, said that we had no constitutional standing, but we're Americans, so we do have constitutional standing, especially when you get home rule status. Home rule status is a status delegated by the state that says you have state power. You can run your own affairs in your own government. This is a gift from the state. In order for you to, it's more efficient, so run your own local things. If there's a state issue, state is going to, state law is going to pervade, especially if there's an issue, the stake. If the state has a stake in the issue, then yes. But, then they'll have a say-so. But if it's just a purely local issue, that's Pueblo City. We get to deal with all of our local issues here. This makes us free. This makes us independent. If we have been failing, it's because it's a failure of leadership, not a failure of the electoral system. So that we need better leaders. We need more effective leaders. You have home rule status. You got this this gift, this wonderful, beautiful gift of autonomy, and it's given to the city of Pueblo in 1954 and 1911 by the state. So we have home rule status. We are constitutional, we do have constitutional standing. You had the court case, the City of Pueblo versus the airport thing, the famous case. That was a home rule case. So just read your own history, Pueblo. You want to have pride for yourself? Have pride in 1954. Have pride in your charter. Have pride in the way this government has been established for so long. You're going to vote to overthrow the fucking government? You don't have any pride in Pueblo. You don't even know how Pueblo's ran. You're going to change the entire form of government just because some fucking committee, some asshole put this ballot measure on there and it simplified it with just 2 words. Strong mayor. Well, okay, would you vote for a strange mayor? Would you vote for a strong arm mayor? Would you vote for tyranny? What if I listed every single change? There were 70 different amendments. There were 70 different changes, at least, or about that. That's how many paragraphs they printed. Some of the paragraphs were identical to the original charter, so it's like, why did you print that paragraph at all? So Dan Archibicu, he's the Civil Service Commissioner. He's the only one that's running. Sandy Gutierrez, she's the only one that's running. They should have canceled both of these elections. This is pointless. People are going to get in there and they're going to be like, I'm voting for Sandy. My vote won. My vote mattered. No, it doesn't. Sandy and Dan is going to win regardless of if any of you dumbasses vote for it. So if anything, that's what I'm going to look at that election for. How many of you are a bunch of dumbasses that just want to feel good about yourselves and you voted for the only candidate for the position? You don't think Dan is going to vote for himself? You don't think Sandy's going to vote for herself? You don't think one voter is going to... There's going to be one voter. So this is irrelevant. This is the reason why public county schools canceled their elections. They had 3 directors. They could have changed their entire school board, but nobody even ran against them. Nobody even tried to run against them. So that's, Pueblo District School, that's what we're faced with right now. There's 5 candidates running for Pueblo, the school board, the top 2, and just like city council, top 2. So, I don't know. I'm very disappointed about the Dan Archibald and Sandy Gutierrez, but overall, I'm glad that there is an election and that they're independent. But we don't vote for the executive. You want to sit there, her argument was against the commissioner-style form of government, whatever the professor's name was. Her argument was that a commission-style government, if you have to vote for the police chief and the fire chief and the water board chief, that's just too complicated for you dumb fucking Puebloans, you stupid motherfuckers. So that's too complicated. Just vote for one mayor. It's simple for you dumb mother. Not everybody is a brilliant professor. So for all you plebes, for all you peasants, for all you have-nots out there, just, strong mayor's good. Just do it because I said. So, that was her argument against the commission. Her definition of a commission-style government, which was wrong, but she was saying that the heads of the government are voted independently and then they become the government. Not true at all. We have 3 commissioners in the county, including Garrison Ortiz, who was there. So she's sitting there spreading all these fucking lies and falsehoods. But that's what they teach these damn teachers. You get in front of the fucking, class, you get in front of the people, and you treat them all like shit, like a bunch of little bitch-ass slaves. Shut the fuck up, I'm in charge here. Well, I can't stand that. I don't see how anybody can sit through that bullshit. Because it's rude, it's disrespectful, and then, somebody was saying, I can't hear, and then she was kind of like, oh, really, you can't hear? No, I don't know why you're making fun of me, but, I'd like to hear what you're saying, and she was like, I don't know if I want you to hear. So it almost seems like her rudeness and shittiness was to cover up for her ignorance. She don't know what the fuck she's talking about. She's 100% wrong with what the fuck she's saying. She says no constitutional standing. It is commission-style government. She lied about. So, she says to vote for all the heads, and then I think that would actually be a good government. That sounds wonderful to me. Yes. Instead of voting for the 5 board members of the waterworks, why don't we just vote for the one water board man, one waterworks guy, the director, okay? And then same thing with civil service. We have 3 different civil service commissioners. Let's just vote for the director of the Civil Service Commission. So, I don't exactly, I think... Civil Service Commissioner, I don't know. I think those are okay, but that's she thinks that if we voted for the police chief and the fire chief and the mayor, and the city council all at the same time, that's too fucking confusing. Well, look at, last election. That was a lot of information, but Pueblo seemed to have survived all that. And they were able to vote, and they voted smartly. They voted well, too. Well, anyways. So Dan Archibald, Sandy Gutierrez, they are now on for 6 more years. Dan Archibald is going to be Civil Service Commissioner for 6 more years. He's going to be saying who is family and friends, who doesn't deserve a job, and who does deserve one based on merit. Dan Archibald is going to be the man who, the threshold of qualifications. So whether or not Pueblo has a meritocracy, whether the city of Pueblo actually hires based upon your skills and your, whether or not you could do the job or whether or not you're just a friend or, a family member, it's all going to come down to Dan Archibald. And he's the chair, so he's going to have that power for 6 more years. He was already there, so the incumbent re-established got in the same seat, so that would be a regressive the election, so that's, -1 for the progressives, but Sandy Gutierrez got in there because the last man, Mr. Gardner, I think, he stepped down, and now she was able to step up, so she just knew about the system enough that she raised her hand at the exact right moment, and so she's a brand new person on the Waterworks board, So, but still, we never had a conversation about waterworks. Do we have clean water? Are we testing the water, well? I'm saying we need municipal trash. We need to test out the radiation. I was going to add these things to my 15 points. But there's, radon is all over Colorado. And I think Pueblo is one of the worst. At least the chart that I saw, it was like one of the worst counties for radon. And then the water, there's all this talk about all this dirty water, even in fucking big cities and shit, in Michigan. So to think that perhaps we might have some old pipes here and there, they just had a big, settlement with a fountain. They're, poisoning everybody. So, we could have had a better conversation when it came to the Civil Service Commissioner. What is that? What is their responsibilities? Who is this person? And what circle is Dan Archibald? What circle is Sandy Gutierrez? Are they progressives? Are they Republicans? Are they Democrats? We don't know anything about them. We had no conversation. They're essentially getting their position just like the police chief got his position. And he may very well be an okay guy. I have, no idea. He seems, on the outside, he seems like, I don't know, he seems okay to me. He's obedient to the city council, so he's given reports to the city council. So that's kind of like a George Washington. He knows parliamentary procedure, and so he's, he understands the three branches of government, and he's, operating his role diligently. I think the problem with him was that he was the establishment's choice, and he was the only one that, had applied for the job, so everybody else just kind of backed away. Everybody's saying, yeah, we should hire internally, so it almost was like a tip of the cap towards, hiring him, and then he was the only one that applied. But if we had if people actually truly believed in popular democracy, all these fucking strange mayor supporter dumbasses, so these strange mayor dumbasses, they're going to sit there and say, we want a popularly elected mayor. Well, what about police chief? No. Why not? Because that's not a good answer. And the mayor is going to have the firing and, hiring and firing at his will. So before city council could fire the fucking mayor, the city manager, the chief executive right now, within 30 days, just a 30-day notice, and then he gets, the fuck out of Dodge. 4 out of 5 or 4 out of 7 votes. So you get a majority vote, pass a resolution, and then that resolution says, here's the reason why, we're firing you, and you got 30 days to vacate, so get the hell out of Dodge. That's all you needed in order to fire the chief executive. Once that mayor is in there, so once Sam Azad becomes mayor, he's in there for 5 years. You can't fire him. You can't kick him out. Legislative don't have any check. One quick correction, I have been saying that the strange mayor changes the budget and the hiring and firing processes. It actually turned out city council never had hiring and firing process. City council never had control of the budget. The city manager was the one that had control of the budget. Which means that city council members have been a bunch of cunts. They've been a bunch of obedient bitch-ass slaves. They're the dumbass fucking children in the classroom, and they need Big Daddy to tell them to do this and to do that. They've always been, a bunch of fucking cunts. And so that sucks. City council was weak to begin with, and it's going to continue to be weak. In fact, there actually might be an addition because they get to approve the department heads, the appointments. But that's going to cause a constitutional problem because what happens when the mayor says, okay, I want, Troy Davenport to be the police chief, and then city council doesn't ratify it. And then he doesn't reappoint somebody else. Who the fuck wins that, battle? So, we have not, fully thought this through. So let's, R. Kenneth O'Neill, the second, I thought it was the third. We keep on, okay, so Kenneth O'Neill, Dottie Calhoun, Taylor Voss, Margaret Wright, Dennis Mays. I know a little bit about Taylor Voss and Dennis Mays. A little bit about Margaret Wright, very tiny bit about Dottie Calhoun, and even smaller bit about Kenneth O'Neill. Kenneth O'Neill's a nice man. Dottie Calhoun's a parent. So, that's an important, you need more parents on the school board. Taylor Voss is a starry idealist, Mr. Stalin and profiling, 24-year-old who mentioned the 1,000 homeless kids. So he's talking about poverty. He's quoting Gandhi. He's got himself a platform. He's got himself a nice little professional campaign. He's got supporters. He's given speeches here and there. He seems to be very active in the community. So, I haven't picked my two choices for school board yet. I'd like to check out what Kenneth O'Neill, Dottie Calhoun, and Margaret Wright have to say. I would say Dennis Mays and Taylor Voss, however, are the two front runners. So Kenneth O'Neill, Dottie Calhoun, Margaret Wright, she's an educational consultant. And Dennis Mays is the former judge. His name is on the Judicial Center. So I think him being, he's John Quincy Adams. He's the John Quincy Adams of Pueblo. He is a judge, and he is running for school board, which gets no pay. He was the chief of the judicial branch here in the 10th Judicial District here in Pueblo County. So he was the head honcho of the judicial branch of government. He was the head honcho, and now he's going to be one of 5 legislatures on the school board for no pay. Judge, he was making $139,000. And he didn't even have to do it elections. He had those stupid ass retention elections. This is probably a harder campaign, a harder election for him to win. He gets paid 0. He don't get paid a penny. He gets paid nothing. So he's not going to make any money. So, unless there's like some crazy sinister reason, I kind of trust that because it's just basically an old man who's been in public service, wants that, power back. He probably wants to help people too. He wants to honor the thing. And so being an old man, you have an opportunity to, if you get some ideas into Dennis Mays' head and he starts championing them, well, you got a good, you got yourselves a good little advocate there. So, and some people said that he was authoritarian, and I think we need less authoritarianism in our schools. We need more democracy. We need democracy in the classrooms. More importantly, we need democracy in the administrator's office. We need democracy in the school board. We need democracy, amongst the teachers and the, so-called professionals. If they're acting in accordance with democratic practices and principles, then they teach by example, and then they show the students what's going on. But unfortunately, the way the school system is operating, because of the school board, because of the low turnout rate, is you get a Macalusa in there, you get a strong superintendent, right? Just like they want strong mayor, they need a strong daddy, strong dictator to tell everybody what to fucking do. But that's, tyranny. We got 3 branches of government, which prevents tyranny. That's the whole fucking point. We fought Britain because we were against tyranny. We were for a republic, for a democracy, and the way we were going to prevent tyranny was checks and balances. So this is a total different animal. This is a total another animal altogether for him. I'm going to give him the altruistic benefit of the doubt. Dennis Mays is doing this for the benefit of Pueblo's children, and he's an old man, needs something to do. He gives a damn, wants to be a public servant. So if he starts talking progressive issues, definitely back him. I think he's inevitable win anyways. So his authoritarianism, keep that shit out of the classroom. That's absolutely right. But then also, when it comes to him being a check on the executive branch, because school board is legislative, and I don't even know what judicial system they use in the school system. Maybe he could work on a judicial system. But see, people understand hierarchy. They understand executive. They understand that Macalusa is the Fuhrer. Everybody kisses Macalusa's ass. Everybody else is a bunch of slaves combating and fighting for her love. So it's easy. Dictatorship is easy. My thing, the reason why I want legislatures is, when the dictatorship goes too far, who's going to check them? Who's going to tell them that they've gone too far? That's at least have the legislative check there just in case. Sometimes the executive can get the legislative on board and then make them do some, the Iraq War, right? That was Congress had voted for that. So sometimes the executive can pull the legislature and do some shit that's only 3 branches of government, so all 3 branches could get together and, get some tyranny, but they would have to get together. So it's not all vested in one person. The 3 branches of government guarantees that all power is not going to be vested in one person. That's what tyranny is. That's what Strange Mayor is pushing for. And so Dennis Mays would be an important legislative check on the executive branch. So his authoritarianism, while bad in the classroom, would be a gift, would be a good thing in the legislative branch, because you want a strong legislature, a strong city council person, a strong school board member. You want me to vote for you, and you're going to go to school board meetings and kiss the executive's ass? Fuck that. I need somebody that's going to speak up for the things. What, you want more money for STEM? Well, you better speak up for that. When the superintendent says, here's a budget, and they cut all the STEM, financing, speak up. Say, no, this isn't what I'm not going to stand for this shit. And that's what I want. I want a legislative check. I don't want, work together, go ahead and work together, but don't be a kiss ass. Don't be a rubber stamp. Don't just be a sycophant, Mr. Happy Go-Along. You need to be, somehow you have to distinguish yourself. Somehow you got to be able to get the attention. So, you work well with them or whatever so you can get most things done. But what if asking politely and asking nice doesn't work? Now you got to, speak up strongly. Here's my reasons. I think we need to do this. We got to do this. I said we were going to do this, and now you're not doing this. I don't understand this. So, say something like that. and go to the newspapers, speak out about the thing. So I feel like for the most part you want them working, well together, but if they disagree on different issues, that's okay. Let us see them argue. That's a good thing. I want to see my city governments arguing, because then that's saying that they don't, they're all not all a bunch of fucking kiss asses, and they could think on their feet. They could think on their feet. They could tell the public, this is why I'm against this issue. This is why I'm for this issue. Okay. There. We've made our statements. Now let's go on with the business of government. So there's 5 ballot questions here. The street repair enterprise, that's a funding mechanism. That's exactly what an enterprise is. So they're going to put $1 on our water bill tax for street repairs. I'm actually partial to it. $12. $12 for street repairs. That sounds like a good idea. I don't know who this money is going to and where it's going to go, but it kind of is, I'm not against taxation. We have a 7-point-something% tax rate, sales tax rate here already, and they're asking for, they're not saying any sales tax. They're just saying $1 a month on top of the water bill. So that's a utility tax, right? And I'm not a whole, I'm not, I don't know. I feel like that's a neutral issue to me, because, unless you know exactly who these people are, what streets are going to be repairing, are they going to repair the potholes in your neighborhood? You have no idea. You have no clue. You hope, that if this thing passes, that the people in charge of this is a fair and equitable distributor of paved roads. But politics, it's all politics, so you best believe that the streets around all their buddies and friends are going to get paid first. So, I think it's good to be cautious, but then it's $12. $1 a month, $12. 12. Would you, just donate $12 a year and try to build some roads? It's essentially what they're doing. People wouldn't just give up $12. It's on a water bill. That's another thing I got a problem with. If we had a municipal trash company, would they just tack on, why not just put it on the trash? Why not just put it on the water? But I've heard that people bundle all those services and then they, tax on top of that. So, I'm kind of in favor of that street repair enterprise. It's only $12 You're fixing the streets. It's kind of hard to argue against. I think it might be one of these surprise winners. I'm not for sure about these other 3 or 4. They're very complicated. Look at this. This is a paragraph. I think people should just vote against it because of that long-ass paragraph. Meanwhile, the municipal enterprise is one sentence. One sentence. Here's a paragraph. There's a big-ass paragraph. There's a big-ass paragraph. There's a big-ass paragraph. So you better, it's good that they get we get mail-in ballots, because we can read this stuff and think about it, in the comforts of our own home. But ballot issue 1A is 9/20. Ballot issue 1A, okay? So they give themselves first fucking dibs. I don't like the county interfering with the city's elections. The city has to send all the shoplifters to Douglas County. So when we get this new county jail, is the county jail going to allow city people? Or the city captures the criminals of the city? So, because right now, if the city arrests people for shoplifting, we're thinking about sending them to Douglas County because there's not enough room in the jail. Now, Garrison Ortiz, and of course he's going to say that, but he says that because of the lower capacity, then yes, we'll allow the city. But it doesn't seem, what was the problem? What's the problem there? Just over capacity? Shoplifting, it's stealing. Do we have non-violent fucking drug offenses? Pull them out. People keep saying that the drug offenders, that's the second offense. They were violent and then they just tack on a drug thing because what? That's better? I don't know if I 100% believe that horse shit. So what? So ballot issue 1A is 9/20th of a cent for a jail. I'm for a treatment center or bust, and I'm gonna oppose this thing all the way through. But I think it might be a slam dunk for Garrison Ortiz, who is all about marijuana, and now he's for a jail. You can't really fuck with the jail, police, court system. You need law and order, right? So in order for us to have order, you need those 3 things. It's almost guaranteed. So it's almost like, people that sit there and be like, you know what? I really appreciate our courts. Not enough people actually say that, to be honest with you. But I guess my point is just that it's the backbone of society. So it's almost like, yeah, you definitely need courts, cops, and jail. You definitely need that. But we already got a jail. We should be aiming towards a treatment center. He's earmarked some money for a treatment center, but I think it should have been the total focus. They've already made all these deals. It almost seems like, did he already take bids? Did he already take bids for the land and shit? They're talking about, buying out all these fucking businesses downtown, and then that's going to be the Ministry of Love. So that's Garrison Ortiz's Ministry of Love downtown, that downtown jail right next to the Dennis Mays Judicial Center. You're going to have people go in there, and they're going to get arrested, come back out, get yelled at, go right back to jail. You'll never see them again. They'll get tortured, they get beat up. He's sitting there saying they're worried about lawsuits. There'll be more lawsuits with that Ministry of Love that he's, proposing.